To the southwest region of Athalloran, there lies a land unlike any other in the domain of the Wood Elves. Instead of ancient trees and thick undergrowth, grassy meadows and oak savannas dominate the landscape. Elven horsemasters, equal or superior in every way to their knightly neighbors in Bretonnia, gallop across the open plains at breakneck speed. Their sun-soaked banners snap in the wind, and the droning calls of war horns are often heard on the breeze. This is Cavaroc, the Skymark reaches, home of most of Athalloran's glade riders. Cavaroc possesses one of the most martially inclined cultures in the Wood Elf realms. This is not born out of some misguided lust for glory, or an innate hunger for battle, but rather geographic determinalism. Nestled against the orc-infested mountains of the Vaults to the south and the expansive Bretonnian dukedom of Quenelles to the west, Cavaroc is constantly assaulted by external forces. Even the neighboring Wood Elves aren't necessarily friendly. The shadow-drenched land of Mordrin, also known as the Night Glens, lies to the north. The realm's spiteful inhabitants, while nowhere near as sadistic as the Drutri of frozen Nagaroth, are occasionally a danger to the Elves of Cavaroc. All of these dangers have made the Elves of the Skymark Reaches swift to anger and to action. Fortunately, the Elves of Cavaroc are equal to most challenges that come their way. The open expanses of their homeland have created a proud equestrian tradition, and the majority of their army is composed of glade riders and other mounted warriors. When attacked, the elves will use their superior mobility and skill in battle to harass their enemies. When the foe does eventually break and flee, the glade riders will harry them to the borders of Athalloran and beyond. If the armies of the Wood Elves ever overreach themselves in an attempt to make their enemies pay, one can almost guarantee that the Horsemasters of Cavaroc are at the front of the charge. The relationship between Cavaroc and their neighbor Quenelles has historically been quite tense. As one of Athalloran's border provinces, the Skymark Reaches often find themselves the first target for greedy Bretonnian lords seeking to grow their lands. Its surprisingly hospitable climate compared to the rest of the magical forest makes Cavaroc even more tempting for the western horse lords. The Wood Elves, in turn, have historically attempted to curb this greed with incredible violence. Reasoning that terrifying the humans into submission would keep them away from their home, the Elves of Cavaroc have slain innumerable men, women, and children in their quest for isolation. In recent history, however, the inhabitants of the Skymark Reaches have changed their tactics. They're currently subtly sabotaging any future plans of Bretonnian expansion by replacing Quenelles' damsels with shape-shifting forest spirits. These infiltrators can destroy the human plans from within, keeping Cavaroc safe with minimal loss of life on either side. Cavaroc is ruled by Lord Edriel of Equos. Overseeing his realm from the imaginatively named Halls of Equos, he serves on the ruling council of Athalloran, like every lord of a Wood Elf realm. His role in history has been relatively minor, with one notable exception. In the 2495th year of the Imperial calendar, Edriel assisted Lord Arlas of Mordrin and the Treeman Elder Durthu in their battle against the necromancer Heinrich Kemmler. The Lichmaster had attacked Athalloran in the winter, raising a vast army of undead from the nearby Karanost and marching towards the forest's heart. His fell magics almost killed Durthu before Edriel and Arlas's army smashed into the undead host. Edriel, mounted on the forest dragon Begir Shuin, slew a Terrorgeist during the ensuing battle. While the Wood Elves were ultimately victorious, the Lichmaster managed to escape their dogged pursuit by fleeing into the mountains. If you intend on bringing a Cavaroc-themed army on the tabletop, the name of the game is Cavalry, obviously. Fill up your core requirements with Glade Riders, then spend the rest of your points on Wild Riders. You can bring infantry or archers if you want, but you should definitely have a strong mounted presence. Edriel and Begir Shuin can be represented by a Glade Lord riding a Forest Dragon, though the exact details of his weapon kit, armor, all that stuff are up to you. When painting your army, your primary colors are going to be green and light blue. The green should tend towards a bluish color, but not quite stray into the turquoise realm. The end result should look relatively light, as befits elves who don't snipe their enemies from the shadows. You might also seriously wrongfoot your opponents, as forsaking the usual ranged supremacy of a Wood Elf army might surprise them enough to give you an advantage. Worth thinking about if nothing else. That brings us to the end of yet another lore drop. This is the first of a new series I'll be working on, this time revolving around the forest kingdoms of the Wood Elves. I'm afraid this series won't touch too much on the Total War Warhammer side of things, as Athalloran is kind of an afterthought on the map. Still, I hope you lot find it interesting. I know I'm a big fan of lore that you can't necessarily find inside the video game. If you enjoy that kind of stuff too, be sure to drop a like or comment down below. I always like getting good feedback on these things. If you want to see even more of it, be sure to subscribe to the channel to get alerted when new videos come out. You can also join my Discord, which is linked down below, for another easy way to access new content. That'll be all for today though, so until next time, this has been Sigmar's Chosen, signing off for now.